Hello, I'm Paul Elliott, President of Asset Services. I thought we would take the time today. We just finished nailing this sample yesterday, and I thought we would take the time today to walk through what happens next after a sample is made to us doing testing. So, as you can see, there's a sample behind me. That sample is a generic 2-layer plywood system. It is a system that's used across the industry. There's absolutely nothing proprietary in that sample. The sample below me is a very similar construction. Again, generic system, nothing proprietary in it. But as you can see in the sample behind me, we have plywood, and then we have the orange marks for where pads will go. We have to know where the structure is in the floor. So I'm going to turn the video off. Through the magic of video, we'll show you a couple quick videos of each layer of the system going on, and hopefully you'll learn a little bit about how hardwood floors are tested here in the lab. And we have the first layer of subfloor down. So the red tape represents the seams in the bottom layer of subfloor in the area where we'll be doing testing. So that's one layer down. We have to do top layer next. We'll be back in what seems like no time at all. You can now see the purple lines. The purple lines represent the top layer of plywood structure in this system. The top layer of plywood and the bottom layer of plywood run 90 degrees or perpendicular to each other. The long purple lines in this video represent the long lines of the plywood, and the two short lines represent end joints of that layer that are in the panel. So now we have to take another break. We'll be back in just a second. We'll have pads on the floor so that we can see where the pads are at and test accordingly. And what you can see now are the black tape marks. Black tape marks represent the pads that are on this floor. Again, this is a generic layout. They're 6 inches from the edges and 12 inches on center. So what we end up at this point is basically a graphical representation that we can use from the top side that shows us where the key structure points are in this system. So next, we're going to pause, and in a second we'll be back and we'll have some test points laid out so that you have an idea of what kind of structure we select when we do our testing. Okay, we're back once again. We've now marked out the test points that we're going to use on this system. Selecting test points is really where the art is in these tests. How many points you're going to test, where you're going to test. Labs need to try to do tests on as much structure as they can to get hard spots and soft spots within the design so that we get a pretty good idea of the range of performance of the system. And at the same time, test points need to be far enough away from the edge of the sample that the edge doesn't influence the results. You can see that we have 1 point at a T-joint on the bottom layer. We have points in between pads. We have an end joint on the bottom layer. We have a T-joint in the middle layer. We are limited in this system because it uses 4x8 components, and they soon get to where the joints are awfully close to the edge, closer to the edge than we like to have it. So these are the 8 points that we're going to test, and this is how we mark out a floor and get it ready for testing. I hope you were able to learn something new about hardwood floor performance testing today. The tests that we do in our lab help manufacturers, and they help owners provide safer, more comfortable, better performing facilities that enhance their athletes' lives. Please contact